Well, hello to all my friends on the interwebs who love miniatures. I'm Duck Eon. It's another Monday, and I'm here to ramble. It is, in fact, Monday the 1st of May, 2023. And I didn't finish quite as many models this time, but I didn't cheat either. There's only 4 compared to the 7 last week, but they're more complex. They were harder to paint, though not terribly complex. We have this armored turtle. He's armored his soft underbelly with plate mail, or rather plate armor, and is counting on this shell. Otherwise, somebody suggested I should have painted this guy as Bowser, but I didn't want to repaint him. I'd already committed to a paint color scheme, so I left him as is. Then we have the 2 Rakshasas. Nothing special about them, and we have the big Mammoth Centaur where I painted the rocks within the rock as crystals of some sort. He's got a chain holding it all together. He's got a lot of jewels and some metal, and yeah, he's not terribly complex either. He looks more interesting than he was to paint. I mean, he looks harder to paint than he was. Yeah, I mean, yeah, relatively happy with that progress. So let's just keep on trucking to other projects. And here we're looking at the leftovers, so to speak. The figures started previously that you've seen several times before, perhaps, but still not finished. There's a little bit more paint on each of them, I think, except for maybe this girl. I don't think I've done much extra with her, but I've put some more colors on these 2, and the goblin has seen a little bit more work. If you're wondering, the figure down here, this is the old version of this figure. I'm keeping it on my desk for reference, so because as I mentioned, I wanted to paint the second one in completely different colors, or somewhat different. So there's a point to having 2 of them. And yeah, not much to say. Hopefully they'll be done by next week. Let's look at newly prepped stuff. So, for stuff in various stages of prep. First off, we have Odin on Sleipnir, where I have, I think, gap-filled Sleipnir well, and assembled him and primed him. Actually, he's gotten a few coats of actual paint as well to give it a sort of zenithal highlighting scheme, where, like, he's almost done. I mean, because I think I want to paint him in a gray scheme. Possibly, if I want to make life difficult for myself, a dappled gray. But maybe like a sky, a blue-gray mane and tail, and just a more slate gray body. And so a simple paint scheme, but difficult to pull off because it's kind of subtle, maybe. Anyway, for Odin himself, I've only assembled him as far as putting the arm with the spear on him, and now of course he's gotten a coat of primer as well, a little bit of paint to just a black wash to pick out the details. And then there's 3 parts that I've primed by hand separately. Everything else, these 2 first things were done completely by airbrush. These were primed by hand. It's the cloak, it's the scabbarded sword, and it's the shield. And I'm going to paint these 3 pieces separately off the miniature and glue them on at the very end, I believe. And you probably won't see much progress until next week, because here's the thing. I prepped this guy specifically as a project to bring to the game stores painting evenings on Mondays. And today, this Monday, the 1st of May, there's no events because it's a holiday and they're closing early. So I might paint some of these little separate pieces because I'm thinking I'm painting those at home anyway. I'm bringing the big parts to the store, the actual figure and the horse. But we'll see. Now, I've also started prepping some of the latest batch of Reaper stuff. These two Bones figures I've simply cleaned, nothing else. And then these metal guys have been cleaned, straightened the bent swords, put them on bases, added material to the bases. They are ready to be primed and ready to go. So can't beat these. I'll probably prime these actually later today after I film this. And then I usually like to wait 24 hours after priming before I put normal paint on it. So start painting them tomorrow maybe. And yeah, we'll see. They might get finished rather quickly because they're mostly metal. So yeah, as in they're often in full armor. So a large portion of the body is going to just be the same basic metal color. Yeah, we'll see how I add some variation to it. Let's move on to the numbers and the outro. For inventory special this week, we're going to Hassle-Free again. I think this is the Rain by Hassle-Free minis. I'm not sure. There might be still some floating around in other boxes somewhere. But I have two boxes here. This one is a big box. It's 47 minis. And these are all the minis from a Kickstarter they did a few years back. And I still haven't painted anything. Well, I have painted a few minis from this Kickstarter because I got doubles of some of these minis for some reason. And I painted those duplicates. So these were, it was called the Matt Dixon Kickstarter because it was all based on illustrations drawn by an artist named Matt Dixon. And so these all came in different versions. So Glory, there was the normal Glory, the Winter Glory, and I think the Skyclad Glory. The winter version has furs and heavy clothing on. The Skyclad version is like Aaron's Skyclad here, naked, right? So we've got a lot of these. Here's Winter Niska, and it's girls mainly. There's one male character called Matthias who is he's a painter, so he's got a paintbrush there. Otherwise, it's ladies, which is what Kev likes to sculpt mostly, and I just have not gotten around to them. This box though is all resin minis, and it's mostly fantasy, and some of them are tagged as Resin Masters, some are just normal resin. I suppose some might be Resin Masters even though there is no label, and they're normal 28mm scale except for this one. This is, I think she's called Crystal. This is a soldier, modern day soldier, possibly Vietnam era, because I think that's an M16 she's holding. And there's a little diorama where you're supposed to build up, this is the base, and you add a wall to it that she's leaning on. And I think it looks like more than 40mm, but smaller than 56mm scale. I'm not from the soles of her feet to her eye line, it's 48mm. To the top of the helmet is 52. So it's kind of an in-between scale, not precise. I mean, I suppose she could be a short person in a 56mm scale. Not sure. And actually, I think I think I want to put this girl in the queue for minis to paint on Monday evenings, to bring special projects to bring to the game store painting evening. I don't need to prep her just yet, but she's waiting in line for that. What I am probably going to prep for next week is the rest of the latest shipment from Reaper, which was I've started all the knights and the warriors. What we've got left is the townsfolk. So we have one pack that doesn't have a name. It says Townsfolk 7. In the catalog it says Clergy, because they're monks or priests in robes. And then we have the Town Guard, which I actually got 2 packs of. so we have a reasonable detachment of guards. And yeah, they will probably be next up on the prep table. And there you have it. That was this week's episode. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you at least stayed till the end. Comment, subscribe, share, all that usual YouTube stuff. But above all, I'll be back here next week. Same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian. Who's now signing off.